Hello everyone, my name is once again Zeomak, aka Visual Pony, and I've changed a few things since the last time we saw each other. As you can see, I have brought Vicar Max instead of Ellie, and I've changed my armor. Why I did this is so I can hack. If you're seeing this, I, Phineas V. Wells, have been precipitously kidnapped and very probably incarcerated by the perfidious and cowardly government of Halcyon in the prison fortress of Tartarus. If I have not already been executed for charges leveled against me, I hope the person reading this terminal will find a way to finish my work or rescue me. Preferably the latter. This screen constitutes my last will and testament. I commend my body and my belongings to the icy depth of the ether. If this is Zeomak, I've prepared an emergency care package located in a hidden panel. Unlock the panel from my terminal and claim its contents immediately. Yeah, I'm not going to... Oh, come on, I'm... The Hope made it to Halcyon after all, 25 years too late. The board doesn't know what to do with the entire ship full of frozen colonists, so naturally they're going to leave them there. Corporate tells us revival is impossible. They've tried absolutely nothing, and apparently they're all out of options. Balderdash. Cellular regeneration after long-term hibernation is really just a question of thermodynamics. I'm quite confident that I can find a way to revive the Hope's colonists, if only Corporate would authorize my request. Frankly, I don't see why I need the permission of my employers to conduct experiments in the name of scientific advancement. What nonsense! Did Newton beg permission for from his employers before discovering the 3 laws of motion? Genius is not beholden to the vicissitudes of bureaucracy. Besides, the Hope has a cargo of hundreds of thousands of colonists. The bot practically expects a few to go missing. 113 seconds. New record. Most of my subjects lasted 93 seconds on average before total cellular liquefaction reduces them to several gallons of organic soup, 3 degrees above freezing temperature. 113 seconds of screaming. This subject was stronger than the others, but in the end his body failed to survive the revival process. He was my 12th subject to die. I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. Strictly speaking, I do know. The Hope has hundreds of thousands of colonists. I've only experimented on 12. How many more experiments before I successfully revive a single subject? 1? 10? 100? 500? Statistically insignificant. If I experimented on 1 subject every month, I would not make a dent in the Hope's population in a lifetime. Can still hear the screaming, trouble sleeping, trouble concentrating, psychological toll significant. On to subject number 13. I always suspected this would happen. The board finally discovered what I'd done and sent their headhunters to track me down. But they'll never find me. They say I'm a murderer, and they're right. I am. I regret what I've done. But I'm not about to turn myself in to the board. I'm not going to go begging for the board's forgiveness. Only the Hope's colonists can forgive me for what I've done. They're the only people who can set things right. And I'm going to find a way to revive them, no matter how long I have to stay in hiding. I've got my notes with me, I have my equipment, and now I have this lab. It's time I return to work. Yeah, I really never expected his... Oh! So I wouldn't have had to change my armor and everything. All I would have needed was to loot a sister pig. What the hell? Pick up Tartarus Napkin. Sorry, guys. What kind of weapon is that? Finn's Force. Oh, wow. How much damage does it actually do? Eh. So I'm to go to Tartarus and 3 wells.
Captain, Felix and the Vicar are arguing again. Captain, as it appears we may soon be embarking for a maximum security prison planet, I believe the crew would like to speak with you to, as you humans put it, air some concerns.
Okay.
Doc Wells never hurt nobody. Just a kindly old fella living by his lonesome up in the rings, tinkering at his table. The board just couldn't leave him be.
Mr. Phineas is just about the only person with power trying to do any kind of good in Halcyon. We gotta bust him out.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth. But that course of action is likely to be quite dangerous, Captain. I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit inclinations towards behavior. Breaking into Tartarus will not be easy.
Getting in is the simple part. It's getting out again that's the trouble. Trust me, I know.
Let's just do it. Kick down some doors, grab Doc Wells, and cut a path out. We don't need a plan. We got guns.
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business. Once you sneak into Tartarus, you may be there a while. Or permanently.
It's the craziest plan I've ever heard. And I mean that as a compliment.
You didn't hire me to think. And I ain't about to start now. You're my boss. And I'll walk into fire with you.
I think it's insane. But maybe the colony needs a healthy dose of insanity right about now.
I know it's dangerous. And I won't lie and say I'm not scared out of my wits. But I couldn't live with myself if we didn't do something.
You're asking for more than bravery from us, Captain. But there are worse ways to go than dying for a good cause. I'm in.
Let Sam get the grime out. It's what our units do best.
The entire plan is a terrible idea, but I admire your bravado, Captain, which leads me to illogically believe, against the odds, that you will be successful.
If we don't make it, at least it'll be a great story.
Got my trusty tossball stick, got my ass-kicking boots. I'm ready, boss.
Outstanding.
You can count on us, Captain. We're crew. For real crew. That means we got each other's backs. Right?
Right,
Never
Parvati.
thought I'd volunteer to break into a prison. Seems like your tendency towards risky behavior is rubbing off on me, Captain.
Command not recognized.
Waiting on your command, Captain.
Bring us to Tartarus. I'm pretty sure this will be the final mission. We are about to assault the labyrinths on Tartarus and determine the fate of the Halcyon colony. If there's anything you want to do before you enter the prison, do it now, before you cross the point of no return. Yes, I would like to continue. Would you like to save? Yes.
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that the punishment for trespassing is execution. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible at this time. Oh, speak of the devil. Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the prison's docking authority now.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a maximum security installation. Your presence here is an explicit violation of UDL corporate policy. You are hereby confined to your docking platform until a ticket detailing your crimes has been filed and notarized, at which point your vessel will be seized and you will be executed. Your ship is not permitted to leave until you remit payment for your fines and submit yourself to execution. Only after your smoking corpse is thrown from an airlock will we lift the lockdown on your spacecraft.
Captain, I would not recommend this course of action.
Hey!
Huh? Oh, yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am. I just couldn't see you clearly before. Screen's on the fritz. Damn thing. But for the record, now that I hear you, I totally recognize you. Totally. You're, you, of course. Anyway, Tartarus Docking Authority signing up. Hang on. Another ship just pulled into your dock. Wait, is that from the Groundbreaker? What the? Pay no mind to that. Just have a pleasant day.
Transmission terminated. Biometrics received. Transferring data to external cartridge. How can I be of assistance? May luck be with you. Of course, as I am sure you are aware, luck does not exist. But it seems to comfort humans to believe they possess good quantities of it.
Yep. That it does, Ada. That it does.
Please avoid damaging yourself or others while you are out.
Ellie and the Vicar. Ellie, because she can actually heal me. So if I get into a firefight, it'll be worth it.
The captain did right by us once. Now the board will never off Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Mardat.
The Groundbreaker is assaulting the prison?
Keep your shoulders up.
They call this place the Labyrinth. Perhaps we should all meditate on that as we make our descent.
Getting in's one thing. Let's just hope we're able to get out again.
Also, I changed her armor because I found a better one.
I suppose it would be too late to back out now, huh? Fear not, Captain. I'll watch your back.
Ah, come on!
Are you new here? I didn't think we were going to catch that. Oh, no. Don't tell anyone, please. Whew. Thank you.
Holy shizballs. That looks good. First of all, let's sell all the shit we have in our inventory. At least the stuff I don't want to keep. Also sell all the junk. And of course we have a workbench. Transition to the pit. Okay. Kind of reminds me of that Fallout 3 DLC. A list of passwords for something called a RAM. There are 3 columns, but only one is legible. The rest have been scratched out. Today's password in column 3, Borst. And she has nothing? A named NPC?
I'm working as fast as I can, all right? If y'all would quit bothering me, I'd get this done sooner. Of course. Why? Well, you ain't authorized, else you'd know the password, wouldn't ya? Is that a joke? Y'all call me out to fix the FPS and now you're asking me who I am? Whatever. I need to fix this before I get in trouble, so stop bothering me.
So she doesn't even try to interrogate me. Today's password is RAM. Is Borst. It's just persuade +7. Gosh darn it. So I can't persuade her to give me the passcode. Gosh darn it! It's the first time this character has not enough skill to talk herself out of a situation. Then I guess I'll have to use my other skills.
Here we go. Down they go.
I don't really care about my board reputation.
Fine hit, Captain!
That's the last of them.
So let's see what's on this terminal. Nothing that I really want to know right now.
Let's go, troops. Stellar Base counting on us.
Are you new here? I didn't think we were hiring more staff.
Ah, come on.
By the law. Hey, we got trouble. Nice one, Captain.
Welcome to the Iconic.
I'm helping them.
They're dead. Ours survived.
Don't mess with us.
The Van Noise.
Here we go.
Elite Troop Armor Gold. Ooh, want that.
Destined to prevail.
That we were, Vicar. That we were. And the game crashes. What? I'm not joking. The game. I didn't even get an error message. It just closed. Holy shizballs. Oh man, come on. It just crashed. Ah, but Luckily I am in front of this sealed door. Unsealed door. Leave conversation. Open. And the game crashes! What the hell? So I get in there. I unseal the door. I go into the room and the game crashes. I don't understand why. Because I've got a legitimate copy of the game. I have gotten it through Game Pass. Okay, let's try this again. So, in front of this door, use terminal, unseal door, leave conversation, save game. So I can open it. I can go back. And when I go in, the game crashes. Holy moly. I have never seen something like that happen. Like, it is so reproducible. I'll just Google this for a second. The Outer Worlds. Pit. Exit. Crash. Crashing in the pit. That seems to be an actual problem. Game keeps crashing on Tartarus. Yeah, it even says here, same. It freezes in the pit right as I pass through the door and unseal with the computer thingy. Same here, looks like a guy in front of a TV camera and it crashes. I was able to get around it with the method posted ITT. Still pretty annoying though. Just tried it through the back door. Same crash result. Reload an old save and restart the mission without companions. It was the only way I could get the game not to crash. What? Can confirm doing the mission without companions did not trigger the crash. Solved it for me. Boss fights more fun on your own anyway. The good news is you don't have to restart the entire mission. If you dismiss your companions right before you walk in, there's a weird glitchy sound, but the next scene loads fine. Ah! Okay, I'll pause. I'll pause the recording here for a second. Alright guys, let's try this. Let's dismiss our companions.
Things on Monarch have really cooled off. I didn't think MSI and the Iconoclast would ever talk. Outside of shouting four-letter words, I mean. Sure, and fish sticks are really made from Saltuna. Look, I won't knock the work you did. I'm sure they'll have a good cry, look through old photographs, share a pint of premium double chocolate cacao gelato. But sooner or later, things will go back to the way they were. People don't change. Not really.
Yes, I do. But I want to dismiss her.
Well, who hasn't been there? Anyway, I'd hate to see you get broken up if this thing between them doesn't... Hey, let's not... Anything else? Okay, see you around.
Okay, and now the vicar.
Anyone with eyes to see would not be shocked to hear that the colony is dying. But the board's solution, choosing to save... Well, when you figure it out, you can count on me to back your play. Your instincts haven't failed us so far. Anything you'd like? Will do, Captain. I'll keep an eye on her. In the meantime, take care of yourself out here.
Okay, let's see.
Well,
I'll be damned.
It worked.
I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. My word! You've correctly identified the most recognizable man in the colony. Remarkable. It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thankfully, he's our insane person now. A proper company man. Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se. Semantics, he'll come around. But that's between us. As far as my adoring citizens will know, we've turned a dangerous crackpot into a working-class man. It's a miracle.
Yeah.
Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation problems. Half-baked plans that simpleton in a lab coat has been leading you through. But it's done. It's over.
Yeah, it's
Let me
over.
ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking up our entire society? Oh, right. This coming from the psychopathic outlaw. Yes, I'll try to be more open-minded about your path of wanting dissent. We don't need your help.
Yes, you do.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one, Captain. Now, if you don't mind, I have to finish prepping this.
You know what? F5 saving. Were those kinda supposed to frighten me? Chairman? Sorry, but he deserved that.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So, get in there and fight!
The MSI troopers are really helping me out here. Especially since I had to send my companions away.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've been working with Dr. Wells from the beginning. When we moved to arrest him, he was prepared. I lost good soldiers in the attempt. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty. I'm afraid I can't do that. For all your talents, you are the enemy of Halcyon, and therefore you are my enemy. You make a nuanced and compelling argument. Here's my rebuttal. No. Dr. Wells is being held in my custody. His cooperation will prove invaluable, even if I have to beat it out of him. All that's left to do is put down this riot, arrest you, and then get on with the bloody business of saving this colony. I'm aware of your propensity. Halcyon is a bloodier place because of you. I take no pleasure in this, you know. I simply have no other option.
Then you leave me no other option as
Leaving you
well.
alive is too great a risk. Goodbye, Captain. If you insist. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically, or something.
So, boss fight.
Performing.
Oh wow, that hurts. Maybe I should have reloaded before coming in here. Come on, that's relatively easy for a boss fight. There you go. Wasn't that hard.
Why won't you just...
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us? You won't hear a word of disagreement from me. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, you have my support. We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it?
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment she landed in Emerald Vale, her actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Sublight Salvage adapted to the changes in Halcyon, shifting their business model to suit the times. Their claims of legitimacy were scrutinized, but ultimately unquestioned. Lilia Hagen would continue to protect her family as ruthlessly as ever. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Ellie savored her adventures on the Unreliable. Once they were done, she returned to life as usual, running missions of dubious legality, shunning respectable work, and living life to the fullest. She meant to reach out to her one-time captain, but she was always bad at keeping in touch.
Aww.
Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. After all he'd seen and heard adventuring with you, the vicar Maximilian de Soto renounced his faith and joined the effort to rebuild the colony. Ironically, he finally found the joy that had eluded him over the course of his life, and realized that perhaps he was always meant to be just a simple laborer after all. He quickly dismissed the idea. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. As hard as she tried to drink them away, Nyoka's memories eventually overcame her. Traveling with the crew served as a constant reminder of the family she'd lost, and so she eventually returned to Monarch to get back to what she found most comfortable: the deep end of a bottle and the far end of a trail. Few have seen her since, but travelers often swear they hear her and her machine gun in the night, screaming swears and spitting bullets. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to the new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? You brought an end to the chaos on Tartarus and proved yourself the most capable leader left in the colony. You administered the colony in your own image. With the old power of the board destroyed, a new government of Halcyon rose with you at its center. With your steady hand, you guided Halcyon through the turbulent years that were to follow, and helped ensure the survival of the colony until the end of your days. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
We did it, guys! We saved Halcyon! We saved Halcyon. We did it. We actually did it. Only took us, I don't know how many hours, but I don't care. It was a great game. I mean, that crash that constantly happened here at the end. Well, we did manage to defeat the final boss without our companions, but bloody hell, it was a good game. That is what I call a good game. No, really. 10 out of 10. Sure, I did have some gripes with the skill systems, especially of the companions and all, but God, is this an awesome game. And the thing is this, there are still so many side quests that I actually didn't do. Like the side quests for Nyoka. Giving her closure with her people. Maybe that would have changed her end. Maybe I should have talked to Parvati more. But you saw that all the factions that I helped there, like MSI and the Iconoclasts, and the Groundbreaker, they all assaulted Tartarus in a big revolution. So this revolution that Felix was dreaming of kinda happened. But then again, it also didn't, because I basically killed the adjutant and then took over, you know? And I also killed the chairman. And also these special thanks messages. You can see that this is a work of passion. This game is a work of passion. And I think I will play it again in the future. I can only recommend it if you can... Like, of course there are problems. And yes, the graphics are subpar for today's technology. They really are. But really, are graphics that important? I personally don't think so. As you have accompanied me through the journey, on the journey through Halcyon, all I can tell you is I am utterly amazed at the games that they managed to give us here. Sure, that bugs there at the end, the skill system with the companions, that's stuff that I'd like to see changed. But oh my god! It's just look at all these people that worked on this. What I can kind of see, what I would like to see, kind of, is an MMORPG in this world, where the actions of the players change the world. But also, now that we don't know what happened to Earth, there is the possibility, now that Halcyon is stabilized, to send an expedition to Earth. You know? That would be a great sequel, I think. Like finding Earth in a totally devastated state, and you have to try and fix it, you know? Like getting maybe terraformers running, or saving people from alien attacks or whatever. It would be amazing if they just continued this storyline. Because there's potential. I see potential here. What would I think also be kinda cool? But it would likely not be a very good game. This game in VR and with romance options. But as far as I've read, there are no romance options for you. Like, you can't romance your companions, which I can kind of understand. But God, great game. And this minimalistic outro here, where you're told everything that happened and the story of everyone after the whole deal. I love that. They did the same in Dragon Age Origins Awakening. And this is similar to that. I think it has its flaws. It has its flaws. Some annoying mechanics. Like, I would have, for example, liked to see stuff, for example, that the companion skills are not only combat skills. For example, with the Vicar, he tells you that he's a skilled hacker. It would have been so cool to have a combat and a non-combat skill for him. For example, like, C would be the Vicar's combat attack, and Control C or mouse click C or something would be his non-combat thing, which maybe would be hacking, you know? That would have been kind of cool. And there we are back at the title screen. This game is just, it blows my mind. I love it. I really love it. It was certainly worth the $1 I spent for Game Pass. Well, $3.49 I think after the first month, but still. I finished this in less than a month. And let me see. 18 hours. I spent 18 hours on this game. Guys, I can only recommend it if you want to have an awesome space adventure. Then play The Outer Worlds. I am Zeomak, aka Visual Pony. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. It will very much help me in the YouTube algorithm. And holy crap. Really, I suggest this game. I recommend it. Also, if you want to support the show, there's a link in the description down below, and I would very much appreciate it if you did. Love you all.